I really do want to try to get a vlog out at least once a week. And it's good for me to try to put down my thoughts, the things I'm seeing and thinking about and wondering about. And vlogging gives me kind of a forum for that. And it seems like when I'm driving, which is when I have windshield time, that's when things begin to emerge. So here we go. I have been talking about amongst the staff and peers, I'm seeing it in my coaching world. I've been talking about what I'm calling the great COVID migration. And it's just this idea that the last year and the way that COVID pinned us down in place gave us more time than ever to reflect on our lives and what we want for our lives. Gave us an opportunity to see that we can work and don't necessarily have to be geographically pinned down. The ways that we're distanced from family that really matter to us, but don't need to be anymore. COVID has blown open the thought processes, wonderings, and longings of so many people. I'm seeing this amongst pastors across the church. I think that it's possible that within the next, the next 6 months to 5 years, that a full 3/4, if not more, of the calls just in the Evangelical Lutheran Church in America will turn over. And that's just talking about pastors, not even additional staff. And that's not even talking about what's happening in the lives of our lay people. I just had a conversation, a one-to-one with Tracy James, our director, our preschool director at our Clifton campus. And, you know, she's resigning her position. And she and Nate are moving to Hilton Head here this summer. They just sold their house. And part of that comes from a reflection on Tracy's part that she wants to be close to her parents in this final season of their lives. They live down in South Carolina, and they have an opportunity to live in a place they want to live, close to the people they want to be close to. And it turns out Nate can work from just about anywhere. And so they have an opportunity here that they didn't see before, and they're seizing it. I wonder how many of you are going to be in a similar situation. Been sitting around wondering about what you're doing for your living, what you're doing with your life, what you want for your life, what your values are, what you feel like the Spirit is up to in your life, where it is you want to be in 5 years. And all of these conversations are coalescing in your heads and your hearts. And you're realizing that the Spirit is starting to blow at your back and something new is beginning to emerge. Anyway, I think we're going to be a generation before we've been able to kind of fully take stock of just how significant the COVID worldwide pandemic has been on the human family and just these United States of America, of the way that it's going to rewrite our sociology and geography, what it's going to mean that the brain drain that's plagued middle America and small town America for so long, that kids can go back to their communities because they have access to resources now and can choose that slower pace of life on the one hand, but still have a high-paying job from Silicon Valley or Lincoln or Omaha or whatever the case may be, and let those dollars go so much further in small town Nebraska or small town Kansas or whatever the case may be. People have choices like they've never had before. And this is going to just, I think, mix up our nation in all sorts of huge ways. And I don't think that they're largely bad ways. I think that it's going to be possible for us to have values conversations with our pastors and our fellow disciples in our congregations and with families and friends in ways that we never have before, and make different kinds of principle-centered decisions for our lives. that I think will ultimately strengthen us and not harm us. Anyway, that's my musing for today. The great COVID migration. It's starting, folks. It's not just when we're all vaccinated and everybody goes on holiday because we've been pinned up and haven't been able to take vacations for a year. The great COVID migration is when everybody looks at their present circumstances, asks themselves, is this really what I want to be doing with my life? Am I living near the people I want to live near? And what do I want to be able to say about what I've done with my life in 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years? And what can help me get closer to that? And especially in a world where geography and work are no longer synchronous. So just a wrap up to my earlier observations, and just a reflection that the ongoing role of the church in the midst of the great COVID migration or any circumstance of life is to continue to facilitate powerful conversations around discernment. What does it mean to be discerning? What does it mean to lean into a Holy Spirit that is alive and active and present in our world and in our lives? And to listen deeply the purposes of God, to discern and see what God is up to in the world, and to lean into God's purposes for our lives. And, you know, part of this dynamic is figuring out what is it we feel like we're here to do. Who do we want to be in relationship with, feel called to be in relationship with? And where do we feel called to live out our destinies? And for those of us who are followers of Jesus, this is a baptismal conversation. We have to engage it with an understanding that our purpose on planet Earth is circumscribed by the larger purposes of God, and that we need to always lean into something that sounds like this. Hey, God, this is what I would like for my life. I'm listening. What would you like for my life? What would you like for my life? What would you like for my family's life? What would you like for... Well, you get the idea. Anyway, so those are just my musings and my thinking about the moment in history we're finding ourselves in, its implications for our existences, and leadership transitions, and the fact that our congregations are going to be seeing a level of turnover, I believe, here in the next 5 years that's also unprecedented as people move and relocate and change affiliations and look for new places to worship. So the great COVID migration is going to impact all of us. And I pray that as we make decisions to step in new directions or to stay in certain locations, that we do so in conversation with our God, in conversation with our faith communities, and in conversation with our sense of baptismal purpose, that we might do these things faithfully. So that's it. I'm at my destination, so I'm going to call this vlog a wrap, and wish you all well. Hoping that wherever you are on planet Earth today, whatever you're up to, you're finding some sense of joy, peace, prosperity. The Spirit of God is accessible to you, and that you're filled with a sense of joy at the possibilities of spring that are emerging around you. And just as a gee whiz and kind of gratuitous spring offering, I'm going to post some pictures here that I've taken around the Fairfax campus here at the end of this vlog. God bless you all. We'll see you around the bend. Peace.